got another special guest in the.
And I want to talk about that, even really a little back, right? Because I remember, I view you as somebody that's really, you know what I'm saying? The craft is very important. And I don't want to speak for yourself. Like, I know, like, I definitely have, like, some tendencies of a perfectionist. But sometimes you gotta, sometimes let it go.
Yeah.
So in this process, like, I remember you had told me you went to Italy, right? For culinary school.
Mm-hmm.
But it's funny because I know, like, well, it seems like from this process too, it wasn't maybe the most enjoyable experience, but maybe you reeled a lot of info. So, like, can you tell me, like, I guess how? And the reason why I brought that up is because we're talking about investment. So that's an investment of time. That's money as well too. So and being a content creator, a director, an artist, there are many times where it's like you say to yourself, "Yo, I have to invest to get to the next level." But there's a lot of investments too that you, in retrospect, you're like, "Damn, like that money could have been used better." So, like, how was that experience for you? And did it set up a foundation for you, or like now as you reflect back on it, you didn't necessarily have to do that?
No, Italy honestly was the exact opposite for me. Italy was that make it or break it moment for me. Before I actually got into like commercial kitchens heavily and really was trying to work. Like, so I was there when
What year is this?
This was 2015.
Okay.
So I was turning 21
Okay.
at the time. I believe that math is right. It should be.
Okay.
But I was like,
It's just semantics.
I
It's
got
just
over
numbers.
there. I was able to buy wine and walk around
There
town
you go.
when I got there.
So you could have been 16.
They didn't care. Like, we were drinking in the street anyway. So,
So fucking weak.
but I was working 6 days a week, 12-hour days, and I remember I was the only person whose restaurant was uphill. Like, literally, it's old architecture out there. It was literally 147 steps. I remember that number because I would count it because I would walk it every day.
Wow.
And then walk up the side of a mountain about 20 minutes to get to work.
Damn, that's
So
kind of nuts.
I'm exhausted.
That's very nuts.
I lost 25 pounds literally just from being
Going to work.
Wow.
Just going to work.
Just going to work and eating different food. But
Yeah.
being over there, I was kind of like nervous because I was working towards a shadow of a friend of mine's who actually had worked at the restaurant before me.
Is
And
that how you was able to get up in there with the opportunity, or not?
No, that was all through the
available for
school.
any-
So
okay.
it's actually a crazy God moment, I'll say, for that. Like, I was in class to bring it back, and I asked someone who had went the year prior. I was like, "Hey, when's the interest meeting for the Italy trip?" She's like, "Oh, the last one's today."
Wow.
I was like, "What?" So I had to rearrange my entire after school schedule. I was like, "I'm going to this meeting."
Right.
So I literally asked her on the exact day. That was the last day to find out information about it. So I got there, signed my name up,
Wow.
filled out the application for the scholarships, everything, and literally on that exact day,
time.
in the nick of time, made that whole process happen. And like just being out there, like leading up to it, like my culinary instructors, they were like bashing me heavy. Like, you had to take a test to actually qualify to go.
Right.
So I'm like, you guys had to pass me. But like, it was literally to the point where like they were trying to make an example of me. One chef in particular, he would be like, "Oh, you're gonna go over there. You're just gonna pick herbs the entire time. You're about to just sit there." And it was like, it was that mentality that I felt like going through culinary school. People were trying to break me.
Right.
There's people who I went to class with where there was instances where
Is that the culture, or is that just maybe your experience, or do you see maybe from experience? Because I would think as a chef now you talking to a lot of other chefs
Absolutely.
as well too. So
Because
it's
it
like, is that
sounds
how
like a
goes?
little bit like, fraternity where it's like you're trying to join the frat. So they
Like
try
Gordon
to,
Ramsay
they're
vibes.
trying,
Like,
yeah.
yo,
They're
like,
trying
you don't
to,
want this.
trying to
You
see
don't
if you
want
want
this.
it that bad,
Right, right.
Or do you feel like it was more than that? Or how do you just feel about that?
some of it, like some of it was a little bit of like that hazing mentality, but I naturally am an inquisitive person.
Right.
And in the food industry, that's unheard of. Whoever's name is on the door, that executive chef, what he says goes. Like, it's not a back and forth. It's not anything.
Yeah.
So any flex or kickback I felt like they would feel some type of way about it. But necessarily most of the chefs or instructors who I work for, they were working at country clubs or didn't have like a lot of like actual line experience at that age or doing the type of work that I was trying to do. But it was naturally I felt singled out.
Yeah.
Like, some of it, not to dwell heavily on, I feel like was a little bit of like, oh, a guy who doesn't look like me.
I was about to say, were there any other black people there?
There, like, I went to school.
I know there's black people in Italy.
Yeah,
but,
no, there was
like,
other like black people in the programs, but literally to the point where like people could literally come up to me like, "Yo, why'd they do you like that?"
Oh.
Like literally, like I
Yeah.
remember one class I would pick up my chef coat almost every morning because I had like 8 a.m. labs up about 45 minutes like from from my house, and I would get up there like chef coat in its sleeve from the dry cleaners. One sleeve isn't as ironed or something like that. Chef be like, yeah, go in the closet, get out an ironing board, and iron your chef coat in front of everybody. Seeing that it came out of a dry cleaner sleeve, I'm about to put it on, but just because, like, just to be in that moment where they can feel like there's a level of control, like that psychological warfare where I'm just like every day, like it wasn't just one instructor either. It would be multiple where it was just like, I don't know what got me to this point where it's like you feel comfortable enough to one try and degrade me in front of the entire class.
Trying to sun me, like
basically,
Yeah.
So it'd be like some classes, like I would literally be over to myself, like and just thinking, I'm just like, damn, do I really want to do this? And it would be like everybody would just like sometimes just stay out of my way. Like not to say like I was like that kid who was in the corner by himself, but like some classes, like I had people who I was close. I had friends and everything like that. But I'd be like, yo, today's not one of them days. Like, I'm just here. I'm doing my work. I'm going to turn in whatever I got to cook. I'm going to cook damn good food. They're going to tell me what I did wrong or whatever. I'm just going to go on and keep doing it. But once I got to that point where they passed me, I was like, regardless of what you say,
there's nothing you can say.
you gave me the fucking green light.
Early.